Hi, and welcome back to It's Not Rocket Science. 5 questions over. I've got coffee. Billy's got one. Billy, this is going to be a brilliant conversation. I'm really looking forward to this, man. Billy Schwer, he is a world champion boxer. As you can tell, he's doing his warm up now. I'm going to be in trouble.
Warming up for you. You ready?
I'm going to be in trouble with this one. Billy, world champion, but he's turned what he knows about boxing into helping you become a better leader, because he can help you change your mindset to the mindset he had to have as a world champion boxer. If you can imagine not having the fear of being boxed out of the ring by your business and taking on your competition and taking them on in a way that you will not only believe is possible, but this man can take on the world. Billy, it is my absolute pleasure to have you here on It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. I'm really looking forward to this because you are such an inspirational, motivational speaker. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us. And I know we've had to sort of put this one back a bit because you weren't well. So I hope you're feeling really good.
I'm 10 out of 10 today for you right now. I am a 10 out of 10. And it's
all right.
It's not rocket science. It is science, the sweet science, as boxing is well known, the noble art and the sweet science. Yes, it is.
I am going to have so much. I'm going to have so much trouble keeping this man inside of this box. Listen, Billy, tell us, what is it? Who is it you're trying to help with this? Because I mean, you've gone from boxing. You're now a really motivational, inspirational speaker. Who is it you're trying to help, and what is it you're trying to teach them?
Basically, it's business leaders and teams. So what I'm all about, inspiring and empowering leaders, teams, individuals to be able to punch above their weight, win more often, and experience more success in all that they do. So that's the context of what I'm all about. And the work that I do is such that it allows for something else to show up within them. So we're all individuals, but we're all in a team as well, because we all know without teamwork, the dream don't work. But we are an individual. So I focus on the individual within the team, and the team as a whole. If everyone's aligned and everyone's boxing clever, moving towards a desired outcome as a unit, results can get caused. And it's starting from here, and it's being fully responsible for that. And that's what I do. I get people to really look at themselves, and let's have a little look, Stuart. I mean, the common question I ask people: where are you on a scale of 0 to 10? The listeners out there, where are you today on a scale of 0 to 10? 0 being bang, knocked out on the canvas, 10 feeling like the champion of the world. So you'll have a number, and Stuart, you'll have a number. So everyone will have a number. So what my intention is to really elevate whatever that number is. Because a lot of people that I work with, there may be a 4, 5, 6. So if you're walking around operating at 50, 60% of your potential, that's what I like to do. I like to unravel what's in the way, such that people can have this energy, this frequency of vibration, and operate in all areas of their life from a different frequency, because things are going to occur different if you're raised your game. So it's looking at what's in the way of people experiencing a 10 out of 10, an 8, a 9, a 10 out of 10. And that's the kind of work that I do as an individual, but as teams as well.
So Billy, let's just let me just ask, and it's sort of combined with my second question, which is sort of what have people done before to try and get them out of this 10. We all know that some days you feel like a 10, some days you feel like a 0. So how do you get up every single day and make yourself 10 out of 10? Because you can't get into a boxing ring and feel like you're a 0, because you will immediately get knocked out, won't you?
So I had 138 fights in total as an amateur and a professional. So I had 45 professional fights, winning the British, the Commonwealth, and eventually the World Championships on my 4th attempt. So there were occasions where I stepped up into the ring and I wasn't a 10 out of 10. So I've got a knack. I've trained myself when required to be able to generate the energy to go and do what I need to do. So I'm conditioned to do that. But sometimes I don't always feel that way. So sometimes in life, we have to kind of step up and raise up and kind of generate ourselves to go and do the task ahead of us. But what we want to try and do is to feel naturally more near a 10 out of 10, just more naturally. And I don't wake up every day a 10 out of 10, but I can generate it. So my day to day, I've meditated, I've hydrated, I've been for a run, I've done some work. That's before I'm engaging my conversation with you. So I didn't really want to go for a run this morning because it hurts. It's hard. My legs are killing me. And I'm running and I'm thinking, I don't really want to be out here running. And it's like, sometimes we got to wake up to the fact we got to do things we don't always want to do. And that's the being responsible. As a fighter, stepping up into the ring, without teamwork, the dream don't work. Without the team behind me, there was no way I could go and get into the ring. But when the bell goes, the team, they all step backwards out of the ring and we step forward. So there is no place to hide. You can run, but you can't hide. So we have to wake up to the fact of, this is my life. This is it. This is my challenge. This is my battle. And I have to be fully responsible for it. I'm not a victim. Don't be a victim. You got to wake up to the fact of, you are it. You are the one that you've been waiting for. The cavalry is not coming to save you. So then it's like, we have to surround ourselves with a supporting network of teams. And we have to look at ourselves, our mindset, our nutrition, our well-being, just all the basic stuff. So I feel that lots of people neglect. And it's the taking care of the mindset, our own brain health, what we feed ourselves, who we talk to, what we read, what we listen to, who are we, what we doing, what we up to. And that's kind of what I have to connect with. Now I volunteer as a Samaritan. I know you know the Samaritan, Stuart.
Yeah.
So Billy the Boxer, I have to leave Billy the Boxer at the door. When I go and do a shift for the Samaritans, I have to tune into a different Billy, because Billy the Boxer is of no use to the callers. So it's being able to adapt and be aware of different parts of ourselves to tap into when required. And a lot of the time I do rest, I recuperate, I'll go and have a lie down. So important. Nourishment, food is so important for us to then be able to turn on when required, because we can't be on all the time because that's stressful.
Billy, these are really important lessons, because what you're talking about is how you bring that sort of energy, that sort of natural way of thinking to different situations in business. And business leaders are very poor at doing that, listening, if you like, to the environment. You know, like you were talking about, I'm in the Samaritan situation and I'm in the sales situation. They bring the same person. And what you've just really highlighted is the importance of bringing different bits of your energy, different bits of your personality, and making it adapt. I mean, and I often say that the problem that we have is that we believe that communication is about what we do, but it's not. Communication is what the listener does, about what the person receiving the communication does. And if we end up speaking to them in the wrong tone, we end up speaking to them in the wrong way. Yeah, it's a bit like one of your punches. One of your punches had to land in the right way, didn't it, in order to have any effect? Pointless punching somebody in the wrong way, because it doesn't actually do what it needs to do. It's just a waste of your energy. You had to tune it to exactly what you needed to do at the time. Sorry to bring the boxing back in, but I thought it was important.
Stuart, you're so right, and it's the communication, because we're communicating all the time, and it's not necessarily language, it's body language, it's tone, it's how we're presenting ourselves and how we're feeling. So the feeling from within, so if your frequency is raised, you're going to be just different. So if you're walking into sales environments, business meetings at an 8-9 elevated self, it's going to be different. The communications, you're going to be in tune. And I meditate because what that allows for me, it's like I have a heightened state. When I meditate and I do breath work, I energize my brain. And honestly, it's like an intellectual upgrade that I have. I can experience it. My language is different. My articulation is different. It just raises myself up. And that's available for us all. And I've been playing about with all of this stuff for over 20 years now, tweaking it, looking at it, what works, what doesn't work, wherever I come from. And obviously I've got all that boxing experience, but then I've got the life outside of boxing experience that I tap into as well. And it's relatable. Boxing's a great metaphor for business. It's not rocket science, but it's some kind of science, and it all kind of works and it all kind of blends together, and it's all relatable.
Billy, this is just brilliant stuff. So I'm going to move us on to question 3. Now, I know that you've got a book, and I can see it over there behind your shoulder. And I know you give that book away free. Yeah. So tell me, how can somebody get hold of that book to understand what you're talking about now and start to apply it to their life?
Yeah, so we're going to have a link so you guys can go and you can have the book, you can download the book, or you can download the audio of the book if you prefer listening. I listen to lots of books. So I'm in the process of writing another book because Man Up was created from my own experience of being a man down. So I don't want to offend anyone with the name, because Man Up can be misconstrued. It's words on a page which can trigger people. So I don't want to offend anyone with Man Up, because it's not what you think it is. And I may be not who you think I am. So being a boxer, you may have a preconceived opinion of me, bashing people up, having all those fights, broken noses, and having the ability to go into the ring prepared to die, kill or be killed. And that would kind of paint a kind of a picture. But I'm hoping that just by listening to this conversation, that you get to see, oh, maybe there's more to a boxer. There's more to Billy than kind of meets the eye of what a professional boxer is. And so Man Up, because on my retirement from the professional boxing ring, I found that transition, Stuart, to be very difficult. I went through depression. I went through an identity crisis. I had a mental breakdown. I wrecked my marriage. I went through a divorce. I had my home repossessed. I went bankrupt. I lost everything. I crashed and burned. I was suicidal, hence why I volunteer for the Samaritans, because I know what it feels like to be in a crisis, because I was there not so long ago. And I've done the work. I've unraveled Billy the Boxer to be free from all the constraints that life was opposing on me, my self-inflicted challenges. And that's when I put those words together, mental boxing, because I was mentally having a mental boxing match with myself. And then the work that I've been doing over the last 20 years is all about transforming ourselves such that we can feel different. Because when I was in the depths of despair, all I kept saying to myself, Stuart, was, I just want to feel good. I just want to feel good. I want to feel good, because I was knocked out. I was a 0 out of 10.
Yeah. That's and look, and this is such an inspirational story, and I've got the link on the set, and I'm going to go back to this. This will be in the transcript and the show notes for this. But if you need to get hold of this book, it's Billy Schwer. That's www.billyschwer.com/book. Or if you want the audio book, it's the same thing. BILLYSCHWER.com/free-audio. Both of those links will be on the YouTube, the LinkedIn, and everything else. But Billy, that's a really inspirational story, and I think it does demonstrate how your thought process produces the results, doesn't it? It is all about how you approach a situation, and a lot of business people today, and I speak to a lot of business owners who are wanting to sell their business, and it leads them into depression because it's a loss of their identity. And you went through it. You know how to get through that.
I went through a midlife crisis very early. I went through as the guys that you mentioned about, they sell their business, and we become so attached to our past, and then we identify with that, and then once that's gone, as I went through, I'm no longer Billy the boxer. And it was when I was in the back of the ambulance on the way to hospital for the second time, that was when I realized that my life as I know it is over. And that was the moment that I made the toughest decision I've ever made to retire from boxing, because I was in the back of the ambulance and I was frightened, because boxing, professional boxing, it can be dangerous. I had a friend of mine killed in the ring. I know guys that have been permanently brain damaged, and I'm in the back of the ambulance and I'm uncertain of my future health. So it's that relationship with that part of ourselves and letting go of it, I found so difficult. And you hear about that, like you mentioned about business owners selling, exiting their business, and then they go through a similar thing. Lots of athletes, we all go with people in the services, they go through a similar thing. And it's supporting ourselves post whatever the life that we've chosen. And then the struggle for me was the reinvention, the recreation of myself. Because who am I? I was Billy the boxer. Now here I am. I'm just Billy. Who's Billy? I don't know who Billy is. And that was the wake up. So I had to get conscious. I was unconscious. And then what happened with me was I become a victim of my situation and my circumstances. My divorce, my bankruptcy. I become a victim of it, which had me feel depressed, broke me. It broke me because I didn't have a future to live into. Boxing was no longer a future for me. And I didn't know what to do with myself. And that was the challenge. And I pursued lots of different things, trying to find my thing and myself. And that was the challenge.
Billy, I'm really glad you found yourself. And, there must have been, you've talked a bit about sort of the work you do with the Samaritans. Was there a particular course or something which actually brought you from Billy the boxer to the person that we see in front of us today? What was the thing that moved you into that?
I've done a lot of work over the last 20 years. I've worked with masters in various different fields. But originally, what really started this journey off was I did a program called the Landmark Forum. Now, I did the Landmark Forum, I'll never forget it, of August 2003. I'm in a room. There was about 150 people for 3 days. It was the first time I've experienced this kind of training. Now, you got to remember, I've been a world champion. I've had sports psychology. I've done all of that. I'm sitting in a room now and I'm going through a tough time. And the conversation was over a weekend about what it is to be a human being. It's the ontological, the study in the art and science of being. So I got to see who I was being in life. And let me tell you, Stuart, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. What the traits that had me become a world champion, what had me winning the boxing ring, I was aggressive, I was domineering, I was selfish, I was inconsiderate, I was always right, rah, rah. Those traits worked perfectly well in the boxing arena, but they didn't work for me in my life.
Yeah.
Ask my ex-wife, she'll tell you. I didn't have to be anything else. I was stuck with that identity. But the Landmark Forum, what it allowed for me was it started to the future. I didn't have a future. The future started to occur different, and things started to just change for me. And the way that I was perceiving life in the future shifted and changed, and then things changed. And that's the journey that I've been on for the last over 20 years. I've been on that journey. And what I've got for myself and what I've learned, I want other people to experience what I'm experiencing, because it's available for each and every one of us. You don't have to, it's available if you're willing and you want to wake up and do the work. And it ain't easy, because I didn't used to like myself. I didn't like myself because those certain traits that I had, they weren't nice, and they worked, but they didn't work for me. And it was like, so now I can honestly say that I love myself. I do love myself, and I love the life that I'm creating, the future that I'm living into, and that's what I've got, and I've created it, and I am it, and it's available.
That's so inspiring, and I so hope that we can get this message to as many people as they possibly can, because this is such a brilliant message. And I suppose it leads me to my last question, and I'm going to let you get on, because you've got a life to lead. You've got other people to influence. And I want to help you do it. But there must be one question that I haven't asked you that you want me to ask. And so therefore, what's that question I should have asked you? And obviously you've got to answer it because I don't know the question yet.
And I think we've kind of touched on it, but if I may reiterate, because it's
please do.
so powerful, is the question that you want to ask me that I wish you would have asked me is Billy, how do you get to experience life as a 10 out of 10?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So then we kind of touched on it in the last conversation, and I'm really clear. This is so powerful. It's about focusing on the future, not the past, because what I got stuck in was looking into the past. So the future will dictate for you how you feel in the present moment. Now, when I retired from boxing, the future that I was living into was dark. It was chaotic. It was painful. So that kind of future, you can see that would have an impact on how I feel. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So if somebody was living into chaotic, dark, painful futures, that's going to have them feel a certain way. So the way forward is to focus on the future, but really be responsible for designing, creating, causing, and generating that future. The dreams that we want, the futures that we want to create, they sometimes feel a long way away, which I know what that's like. It took me 4 attempts to win the world title. Now, when I was getting bashed up in the ring, in the gym, time after time, losing, I was trying my hardest, but I was getting knocked back. And we all experience life. We get knocked back. We don't always win, but we want to win more often. You got to keep coming back. And it's the focusing on that future, which is so powerful, because we have to let the past go, take the lessons, learn the lessons, bring them into the future with you, but don't bring that past that you don't like or that you don't like about yourself. Don't bring that into the future, because that's what we keep bumping into. We have to draw a line in the sand, create, design the dream future, which sounds a bit woo-woo, but we are it. And we are the one that we've been waiting for. So it's surrounding yourself with people who can support that for you. Without teamwork, the dream don't work. And that's so crucial. Get the right team around you. And that's what's going to help you experience life in some other way that you've got right now.
Billy, that is, I mean, it's not only a lesson for life, it is a lesson. I mean, you know, but we've talked about how you can help business owners. Getting the team around you that can actually help you is the most crucial thing. You can't do everything on your own. You need the team, but you need to approach it with that positivity that you've just given us. You need to approach it by thinking about the right Billy, the right person to get in there. Billy, I can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am for the fact that you spent a few minutes with me. This has been a brilliant conversation. I've really enjoyed it, and I just want the whole world to hear about it. So I'm going to help this get out to the entire world. And listen, if anybody's listening that wants to be able to hear this sort of thing, we do these on a Tuesday. And if you know people that want to hear about this, please get onto my newsletter list so that you can get to hear about brilliant people like Billy who come on and give up their time to talk about this sort of thing. To get onto the newsletter, go to this, which is link.thecompleteapproach.co.uk/newsletter. That's link.thecompleteapproach.co.uk/newsletter. Get onto the newsletter list and come on and listen to the brilliance of people like Billy. Billy, I can't thank you enough for just spending a few minutes with us. I know you're a really busy guy and you've got so much experience that you know, coming on and doing this has been 20 minutes out of your time that you could probably have used really well. But thank you for coming and spending this few minutes and giving us these brilliant insights. And listen, go on, be another 10 today, because you're the most inspiring guy I know.
Stuart, it's been an absolute pleasure to spend some time with you. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And thank you. Can I just...
Go on, sorry. I nearly cut you off.
No, you cut me off. I want to say, Stuart, to the listeners out there, go and subscribe, because Stuart is up to something. And you're sharing with us, you're bringing to us all these extraordinary people who've got amazing stories. So Stuart, I want to acknowledge you for the contribution that you are to us all. So thank you. Thank you,
Billy. Thank you, sir.